Well, have you ever heard about my story when dealing with Monique and her husband?
No. Daddy.
Let me tell it. Because I have told myself I'm going to keep telling this story until I make my money back.
Hilarious.
So we had an interview with Monique a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She came in with her husband to do the interview.
Daddy?
The entire time. Yeah, with Daddy.
Is that nigga's name?
I guess, yeah, according to her. The whole time they were holding each other the entire interview. I've never seen this before.
What do you mean?
Like they were just clutched up on each other, hugged up I'm talking about for like an hour and a half. This had to be some sort of Guinness Book of World Record right here, like to do an interview holding. But to be fair, it was a great interview. But before the interview started, I gave him the release form, and her husband was like, I just want my lawyer to look through it, but we good, don't worry about it. This is just a technicality. It's all good. I generally don't do interviews when that happens, but he was assuring me that it's not a big deal, and he got me, let's just go forward with it, and he'll take care of it very quickly.
Right.
Cool. We do the interview. It was a great interview. We talked about the whole story, her growing up, how, being, sexually abused by her brother and whatever else. I even brought up the gay rumors about her husband. They kind of laughed it off and everything else like that. But it was actually what I feel was her best interview ever.
Right.
Because it really got to tell the story of her. Interview's done. Okay, can you send back the release form? We're waiting. A couple of weeks pass.
Mm-hmm.
Her lawyer hits me back with her husband on CC. And they said, well, here's the release form, but we've modified it. We're going to own the footage and we'll let you use it for a year. I'm like, have you lost your fucking mind right now? We're going to own the footage? Imagine if you did Friday and you don't sign the form, and before it's over, you say, okay, in order for me to sign this movie that's already done and filmed, I want to own the movie, and I'll let Ice Cube use it for a little while.
Cube, we got two things you can do. You can give me the movie with a percentage, or you can go fuck yourself.
Right. And what I said was, that's interesting because you didn't do this to Breakfast Club or Sway or all these other interview platforms you did it on. I checked. I called some of these people.
You know what that
Why
is?
are you doing this to me and not to everyone else? No comment.
You know why?
Why?
Because it's an idiot talking for the talent.
Right.
You know what? We gonna own this shit. Shut the fuck. What the fuck do you do?
So my lawyer said, something, look, let's just put it out and see what happens. We put it out. They sent us a fucking cease and desist. So we're like, okay, fuck this interview, right? So I said what I said about him. I called him a bitch and some other shit in some of my interviews. Mm-hmm. Some time passed, and I'm like, man, I really just want to put out this interview because it's actually a good interview. So maybe let me just approach him on a business level. So I said, look, I emailed him, and I said, look, I'm sorry for calling you a bitch.
Bigger than me.
Let's work something out. Let's work out a dollar amount where it makes sense for everybody, and let's put this out because I think this is a great piece. And the reason I called you a bitch was because what you pulled with me, you didn't pull with any of these other platforms. She does not own the Club Shay Shay interview. I can guarantee you that.
No.
And I bet you she signed the release form right then and there because that's why it came out. He gave me a long list of demands of what I need to do in order for him to accept my apology. I said, fuck this shit. Fuck him. He is a bitch. I'm going to say this with every comedian I interview. But what I realized was that I think my mistake was that I thought I was talking to a man.
Mm.
But instead, I'm talking to a wannabe pimp who makes all his money off a woman.
No, that's a pimp and hoe.
It's a pimp and hoe relationship.
The hoe always going to call the pimp
Daddy. Exactly. If I was talking to a real man, which he is not, we would have worked it out like real men. But this is someone who hasn't done shit. And his whole fucking life is built off his woman hitting that track and telling them jokes and bringing the money back to Daddy.
All he did is put a wig on a pig, you know what I'm saying?
That's such a pimp term right there. Put a wig on a pig.
Put a wig on a pig, you know what I'm saying? 10 toes down, bitch, don't frown.
Down. There you go.
Sure.
So, hey, man. So
she want to choose a real pimp, bitch. I'll have your work at.
So fuck him straight up and down. I know he's gonna see this. I'm gonna fucking email it to him also, because that was some real hoe shit, because we lost money and time doing this fucking interview that never came out. So I'm gonna make my money back talking about his punk ass.
Hey, it's America.
Hey, it is what it is.
It's America.